Hello everyone, this is Sir again for a new video, and today I'm joined by Jonas again.
You're not wrong.
I was right. What are we going to talk about today?
This looks an awful lot like an AORUS machine, doesn't it?
Oh, what a surprise. Today we're going to talk about the new X5 V7. So that's something you've been expecting for quite some time. So today we're going to go with an in-depth presentation of the model.
Cliff notes. Core i7-7820HK CPU, overclockable one, actually overclocked from factory. NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1070 graphics, plenty of RAM, plenty of storage, plenty of actually everything. So we're gonna take you on a journey through the X5 V7 over the next minutes.
So, one thing we can say when we take a look at this laptop, looks pretty much like the previous one, but we've made a few changes. As you can see, we've added two air vents in the same way as we did on the X7. The usual reason is just to have a better cooling. And yeah, the screen looks the same, but it's actually slightly different, right?
Well, it is a 15.6-inch form factor, yes, but we have a couple of, we've made some extra efforts on the screens. First of all is the resolution. It comes in two options. We don't have any full HD one. There's a 3K, which is 2880 by 1620, and a 4K option. Both of these have NVIDIA G-Sync, and for the first time, this is a bit of a professional feature, but we have a cooperation with X-Rite for their Pantone colors. So all of these screens on the X5s, on the AORUS models, are now X-Rite Pantone certified, which means the colors you get on your screen are exactly the same as when you send off your project to the printing agency or whatever.
And the other feature, I mean, classic, is also the RGB Fusion keyboard. So if you're new to our channel, or if you're not really familiar with that, that's this keyboard right here. So you can actually personalize any key with any color. I think you have a choice of 16.8 million colors, so that gives you a lot of choice. And also the software that goes with it allows you to program any key as a macro. So any key with any color, that's a lot of customization. So you can imagine what you can do with that.
Yeah, plenty of lighting features, plenty of optimization and customization there.
So now that we've talked about the look, maybe we can talk a bit more about the performances, because I know you've been trying the X5 for quite a week, I think.
I've been playing around with it quite a lot because I do enjoy fiddling around with it. As I mentioned in the intro, there's a 7820HK CPU, and the cooling has been improved from the previous version as well. And the way I thought, like, okay, we have an overclockable CPU, I gotta overclock this thing. Out of the box, it comes with a maximum turbo frequency of 4.3 gigahertz, up from 3.8, which would be the standard. So there's a 500 megahertz boost there already, which is quite a big step. But the engineering that has gone into this thing, the power circuitry for the CPU and the cooling actually enabled me to reach over 5 gigahertz in a single threaded benchmark. I mean, it's not really representative of what you will be able to hit at home if you want something stable, but I figured, like, hey, I pushed it to 4.9 and I figured we gotta try getting over 5. And I did. So it's a 5 gigahertz laptop for me, and that was the first time I've seen that, which was interesting. And obviously you can also overclock the graphics card, the GTX 1070, a little bit, should you wish. So there is some headroom in the cooling, and the power circuitry is let's say, quite beefy for a laptop. We haven't skimped on that for sure.
The other thing we should mention as well is the fact that this laptop has also more options in terms of cooling. So you get the overclocking, but we also give you the option with the fan deep option. That's a new feature that we've added. That's basically, you have more steps into the fan speed that you want to have, and also you can kind of control the noise that it's creating. So it's up to you. If you want to go like all gaming, like maximum power, maximum speed, you can put it to the maximum. If you want to have a low profile, you're in the library or whatever, yeah, I mean, you have the choice, and that's what we wanted to give you guys.
Yeah, basically you're in charge of how much noise it makes. If you want to watch a movie and want it to stay quiet, maybe you want to sacrifice some performance of that because it will heat up a little bit. But I mean, the choice is up to you. You get to decide yourself. And other things when it comes to performance, the CPU is paired with DDR4 memory, as all these 7th series, 7th gen core CPUs are. But in the AORUS X5 V7, we have 4 RAM slots, which means you can run up to 64 gigabytes of RAM, and also plenty of SSD space. Am I right?
You have 2 M.2 slots. You can also have your hard drive, of course, but that's a lot of customization for anyone who wants to add any SSDs. And of course, SSDs mean no access time, so that's better for your gaming performances, of course.
Yeah, and also the M.2 slots are PCI Express linked, both of them, which means that you get ridiculous transfer speeds of way over 2 gigabytes per second. So you won't be left wanting for disk performance, CPU performance, or graphics performance with the X5 V7.
So we've seen the performance, and we've seen that actually this laptop packs a lot of power. Maybe that's why this year it won the CES Innovation Award again for the second time. But maybe we should take a look at other features that it has, because we've added a few things since then.
Well, yeah, I'm a big fan of sound. I like to have a good sound quality in whatever I do, because I often use headphones, analog headphones at that. And you've probably seen people kicking around the fact that they're using ESS Sabre DACs. Truth is, I think ESS themselves, they are flogging, I think there's 4 or 5 different DACs. And what other manufacturers mostly do is they just grab the cheapest one, like, oh, we have ESS, woohoo. Whereas what we've done is actually we've gone for the top of the range one, because this is an AORUS massive, like everything is top notch. That's the mantra. And we're using the ESS ES9018K2M. Remember that and put it on your postcards. That DAC, which is built by ESS as a high-end studio-grade DAC, the digital to analog converter, which, yeah, the name does what it says in the name. Which means the signal-to-noise ratios are extremely low, total harmonic distortion ridiculously low, and the electrical circuitry that goes into this, the parts around the actual DAC, are also built with, I was going to say no regard to money, but what's the expression? Where money is no object. There we go. So the sound part, I'm literally raving about it because I love it. It sounds really great. Other things we have in this one is obviously Thunderbolt 3, USB Type-C connector. You can hook up 2 4K monitors running at 60 Hz to one plug. If you don't want to do that, you can
put a SSD. You can charge you can also charge your phone actually, because this one is equipped with a charging port. And you could, I mean, if one day you want to put a 1080 Ti plug to this laptop, I don't know why, but yeah, you could do that if you have an external VGA dock. So yeah, that gives you a lot of possibilities in terms of connectivity. So yeah,
good sound, Thunderbolt, possibility to hook up external graphics cards if you wish in the future. Indeed.
So we talk a bit about I/O when we talk about the Thunderbolt. So maybe we should take a look at what we actually propose with the X5. So you have a mini DP here. You have the USB 3.1 Type-C and the Thunderbolt 3 port, which is also Type-C port, audio jack, and of course microphone. 2 USB 3.0 on the back, Ethernet cable, and DC in. So I specify this because I hate to have the power on the left or right, because I mean, when you're just playing, it's just annoying. So on the back is perfect. Here you have the HDMI 2.0 if you want to put a screen, 2 USB 3.0, and of course the SD card reader. But I think you can tell us more about the SD card reader because it changed.
The SD card reader is actually hooked up to the PCI Express lanes directly, meaning it's not hooked up to USB, which in the past they used to be USB 2. And nowadays the SD cards are so quick that it's actually bottlenecking your performance when you're moving your video files or whatever. You know, when you have 64, 128, or sometimes even more than that, 128 gigs of data you want to transfer quickly to your computer, you want that to be limited by your memory card rather than your computer, and we've basically eliminated that bottleneck. And also, because we have the HDMI 2.0, we have 1 dedicated mini display port, and we have the Thunderbolt 3. There's a total of 4 display outputs, and all of them are able to do 4K at 60 Hz, which means you can run a total of 4 screens off of the X5 V7.
So now that we've seen that actually this new X5 has a little more surprises than just being like the normal refresh of the year, we've seen that there's a lot of power inside, there's a lot of new features. Maybe we should talk about the availability. So it's coming in June in the US and Europe, and the starting price will be $23.99 US, so which is a quite decent price for all the features that we offer, right?
That's a lot of stuff for your money. I mean, it's not just a little bit of money, but it is quite a lot of money if you look at it from a fiscal perspective. But you have to figure that you get the overclockable CPU with lots of power, GTX 1070 graphics. You have these amazing screen panels, 3K or 4K, all this connectivity, Thunderbolts, you name it, whatnot. The screens are also Pantone certified, which means you get all the great colors, G-Sync, whatnot. I don't see anybody actually rivaling this for value at that price point.
Yeah, I think the essential word with the X5 is very customizable. You can customize the GPU, the CPU, you can customize the speed for the fan if you want to have like 3K, 4K. I mean, that's really the essence for this one. And yeah, if you have any question about it, feel free to leave a comment, especially if you want to know when it will be available in your country. And yeah, we'll see you around. So thanks for watching, guys. Cheers. Bye-bye.
AORUS.